All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Japan live stream show where we talk about less talked about aspects about Japan and answer questions that you didn't even know you had. I'm your host, one more Guyjin, sharing and simplifying Japan for you and showcasing the beautiful prefecture that I live in, Okayama Prefecture. But you can just call me Daniel. It is episode 2, so this is the second time we've done this. So thank you guys for coming. If you're watching on the replay, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you can learn some stuff too. We're going to be talking about a very critical aspect of Japanese culture. It's called Honne and Tatemae. Honne and Tatemae. So one of my very first videos was actually done on this very subject. It was in the 2 minute Tuesdays Culture in a Cup that I did like 3 videos on. But I wanted to revisit it and talk to you guys more about it and get your opinions and maybe some questions. And hopefully we can answer those at the end of the my little spiel here. We're going to talk about 4 things. First, we're going to talk about the description and what they are. So, what is honne and tatemae, and how would we translate it to? And why are they used in Japanese culture? And then, how are they used in Japanese culture? And then the fourth and final thing is kind of the good and bad points, and my kind of in comments about both of them. But we're mostly going to be talking about tatemae. That's the big one. But yeah, if you guys are ready, let's go ahead and get started. Just check the comments here. Yep, I hope you guys. Yeah, if you don't mind, please share the stream out, so get some friends of yours to come and watch, and hopefully they learn something, and then they share, and then those friends learn, and then before you know it, we've got like a whole 2 million viewers instead of like the 5 that we have. But I'm so happy that you guys are here. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about number 1. So what is honne and tatemae, Daniel? You're talking so much and you're not telling me what they are. If you live or if you have visited Japan, you'll definitely come across these 2 words. Um, it's kind of like a hidden secret, kind of not really, but you probably will know these. Um, let's get the easy one out of the way. It's honne. Honne is your true feelings on a subject or on a situation. So, and tatemae is kind of the not the opposite, but it's kind of the facade that you put over uh, your true feelings. You put this mask on, I guess. It's kind of very similar to white lies, but it's what's used in Japanese culture to kind of um, keep the harmony going in day-to-day situations. But let's talk about a situation, just a simple example. For example, a work party. Work parties they're not that fun. You kind of have to go to them, and maybe you might have a little bit of fun, but you don't really want to be there. You don't really want to be stuck there with people that you have to go to a party with, right? But anyways, at the end of the party, things are kind of cooling down. Everyone's kind of trickling out and leaving, and they kind of get together. Um, and so it's finished, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that was fun. We should really do it again next year." You don't really think that, right? That's your tatemae. That's the kind of a white lie that you're telling. You don't go out to your coworker and say that party was crap. I really do not want to go again. Screw you all. Unless you do, and that's your way of dealing with those kinds of situations. More power to you. But most people, I say, kind of with broad strokes, probably would be like, yeah, let's do it again. Yeah, that sounds fun. So that's your tatemae. Your honne. Sorry, I just hit the mic. That might have been loud. Your honne is, I don't want to go again. Please, God, let's not have another work party. So that's kind of a very simple example. You guys, yeah, social niceties. Yes, is a good way to say it. If you guys are, if you're looks like you guys are kind of hanging on to it. So we're gonna go to why are they used in Japanese culture. This is the kind of one that I find uh, interesting, and why I like talking about it is so Japan as a whole. Like whenever I'm talking, just remember that I'm painting with very broad brushstrokes. Okay, everyone is different, and I don't think you can lump the Japanese culture into one. You can't lump any culture into one, but as a whole, compared to America at least, the Japan is very group-minded. It's a very group-minded society. So the society itself is focused on preserving what's called wa, and that's translated to harmony. So saying something in society or to another person that could upset that harmony or wa is pretty much frowned upon. And also, Japan and Japanese culture is very contextual. Yeah. Uh, so it means, so like I said, it's very contextual. So it means a lot of things are said, but the underlying meaning is understood. Or something that is not said, but that not being said is understood as well. So like those two things, the being a group-minded society and also having this high contextual culture and language, kind of puts white lies like on steroids. So like they're used much more frequently and to a greater extent. And it also, like, to kind of explain the high context and low context cultures, it is said that in English, at least in American English, if two people are talking and the listener does not understand what the speaker is saying, it is the speaker's fault, generally. But in Japanese culture, if the listener does not understand what the speaker is saying, it's usually the listener's fault. They're not picking up on the social cues or the context under what the speaker is saying. Once again, broad strokes here, of course. Yeah, so that's pretty much why this kind of tatemae and honne culture is so deeply rooted into Japan. But I think you guys are probably starting to see, and you've already started to make some connections, um, that a lot of this stuff is pretty familiar. So yeah, we're gonna talk about how tatemae and honne are used in Japanese culture. So we learned like why they're used, but now how are they used? That's the difficult one for foreigners coming into Japanese culture or trying to learn the language. This is the difficult one. So because it can be kind of nuanced. Um, the easiest one is basically appearance, and this is the one you guys are probably gonna know about. So, for example, if you're the big one, the big kind of stereotypical white lie is like your wife asks you, "All right, do I look fat in this?" And you say no. No, you do not. You look beautiful, right, Arisa? Um, so but Arisa looks beautiful no matter what. So yes, I'm definitely sure.
Is that honne?
That is my honne of honnes. So appearance is the big one. You know, like for example, saying, "Oh, that dress looks cute on you," like friends, and maybe like, it's a little bit kind of too fluffy. I don't know. I don't know dresses. Yeah, I was like, it's too fluffy. But you know that kind of thing, saying, you know, "Oh yeah, the dress looks cute on you," "Oh, those earrings look really cute," or "Oh, that's a nice looking tie, man." When you really think is like, that tie is so crinkly and wrinkled, it's not good. So those are kind of the white lies about appearance, and Japan has that as well. There's Arisan here. So I gave you the example about the work situation. There's another one. This is the what Arisa kind of came up and helped me with. Um, karaoke. So let's say you're going out with friends, or no, let's say friends are inviting you to go to karaoke. And let's say that you hate karaoke. Hello, Shock JP. Konnichiwa. Hello. Welcome to the channel. We're talking about Honne and Tatemae. So like, let's say people are inviting you to karaoke, but you don't like karaoke. I don't know why you don't like karaoke, because I freaking love karaoke. But that's your opinion. And so your friend's like, hey, let's go to karaoke, and you say, sorry, I'm busy on that day. I've got other things to do. That's another example of using tatemae, right? You don't say, hey, I don't like karaoke. I'm not going with you guys. Your friends will be like, okay, all right. Sorry we invited you. It's just a nice way of dealing with people, saying, instead of just being don't want to go, you're just being nice to them, right? And another big one. Now this is a big one that I kind of mix around a lot. Is if someone compliments you usually turn it down in Japanese culture. Usually, right? Now I've been around some people, and some people say, "Yep, thanks," but let's say like the big one is, "Oh, you speak very good Japanese." First of all, they're kind of saying tatemae, maybe, if you're just a beginner and you've just said a few words. They're just being nice, making easing the tensions in the situation, because maybe you're really nervous about speaking Japanese, so they compliment you, saying, "Ah, your Japanese is really good." And then the correct response normally would be, "Oh, no, I'm not that good yet. I'm still studying," or something like that. So you usually want to downplay compliments. Now this one is difficult, at least I know for Americans, and it has been difficult for me, because now I downplay compliments too much, and you do want to accept some compliments. But when I went back to America, one of my friends asked me, this guy he's not Japanese. He asked me, it's like, "Oh, so you've been in there, for a long time. Are you fluent in Japanese?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm not fluent. I just really, I need to study more." And he's like, "You've been there for so long, and you're not fluent? Wow, you must be dumb." And I was like, "No, that was me being Japanese." I didn't say that, but it just made me realize, like, I was mixing kind of the cultures. Like in America, you say, "Yeah, I'm pretty fluent. Like I'm not 100% fluent, but I can definitely have daily conversations and things like that." That would be a proper response in America. So, but I was just like, "No, I can't. I've been here for 8 years and I don't speak any Japanese." And he was like, "You're dumb." So I was like, "Yeah." So, and then this one, and then not the last one. There are many situations and examples for this, but a big one is in the workplace. Now, this is where it gets really difficult, and this is the one, yeah, it's where it gets into the bad parts of Honne and Tatemae culture. Um, so dealing with your superiors. For example, you're in your work and your boss tells you to do something that you don't think is the correct way to do it, or is not the correct way to do it, or a better way. In America, at least in my experience, and I'm sure in other countries, you could probably tell your boss, like, "Hey, there's a better way to do this. Let's try this out," and that would be fine. But in Japan, that's really kind of looked down upon most times. You just kind of go along with your boss and kind of gradually tell them, like, your honne, like, "Actually, yeah, this time didn't work so well. Maybe we could try another way." But you have to have that first mistake before you can kind of start talking to your boss. And that first mistake usually gets blamed on you in Japan. So it's difficult dealing with your superiors. You don't want to say your honne straight to them, because it treads on their feet, I guess, and it can maybe make them feel dumb or something. And you don't want to do that in a group-minded society. It's not about the individual. It's not about how smart you are. It's about how well the company is doing, which can lead to some problems if you have to make a mistake first to show your boss that he is wrong or she is wrong. So that's kind of the bad point, one of the bad points about it. But we'll talk about bad points later. And then also, if maybe you're in a top position, you're the boss, and maybe your friend, or you're not your friends, your underlings or the people under you are not telling you their honne. They're telling you what they think you want to hear. They're being yes men or yes women. That's not good either, right? Maybe you are a new type of boss, not a new type of boss, but a boss that wants your underlings to tell them, better ways to do them. You want them to be creative. If they're not doing that, then you're not really making the best progress. So we're gonna take a break. I do have a quiz for you guys. Let me just check the comments here, see what you guys are talking about. We had a new visitor, Shot JP. Thank you for coming. If you're still here, I don't know if you are. If you are, just say hello. Yeah. Looks like you guys are having a good time reading. So Simon says reading the air in Japan is a minefield. Yeah, it can be very difficult. Sometimes you don't know what's the Japanese people are really thinking, or if they're telling you, how they really feel, or if they're not. It is a bit difficult. Simon asks, will there be adverts? No, there will be no ads. But there will be a quiz, and I'm just gonna wet my whistle. I get very dry when I talk a lot. But yeah, many friends say, Arisa, your English is perfect. Yeah, that's a good one. So Arisa, her English is not perfect. She does make mistakes, and that's fine. That's how you get better, right? Yeah, I mean, I know my Japanese isn't better or isn't perfect. It's far from it. And if someone is telling me, "Hey, you're really good in Japanese. You don't need to get any better," like that doesn't really help me. So that's another bad point of the Honne and Tatemae culture, which we will talk about later. But first, quiz time. So I got a good one. I really like this one. Let me just get everything ready. So in anthropology, there's things such as high context culture and low context culture. We talked about Japan being or considered a high context culture. So I want you guys to think, what would be an example of a low context culture? I will be back in like 2 minutes. You guys talk about it. No looking up on Wikipedia, okay? Don't be doing that. Think. And I'll see you guys in like 5 minutes. And we are back. So, what do you guys think? So, what is an example of a low context culture? I've got from Simon, he said that Britain is a low context culture. What about you other guys? Robert doesn't want to participate because it's too early for him. I understand. I can totally dig that. Countryside Limo, America. Yeah, you guys are doing pretty good. You're naming all the English-speaking countries. So yeah, that is it. So America, but there's a catch here. So America and Britain are both low context cultures. Australian is and the Dutch, English Canadians, Finnish, Germans, Israelis, New Zealanders, Kiwis, we'll just call them, Scandinavians, Switzerlandians, and the United States. Yeah, so they are all low context cultures. There are more, but it's not a bad thing. It just means that people are very not even straight. There's no, they tell it how it is, kind of. Now there are catches to that. Like I said, America, like if you take America as a whole, it is a big country, obviously. Like for example, Southern America, not South America, Southern America is, yeah, here's some shots fired on Australia. So Southern America is not considered a low context culture, like Texans and things like that, compared to like someone from New York. The South are a little bit more talking, slowly talking. They talk slower, like my brain right now. and there is some contextual clues in when they are speaking, and cultures can change. Japan is actually people have said that Japan is starting to change to a lower context culture, just because of all the Western influence in them. So cultures change. So the British, you guys have hope, maybe. Just grunt most of the time. So that's very, very high context culture right there. It's really weird. Yeah. Yeah. Some of the Australian shows are pretty rough. But let's continue. Arisa, did you want to say hello? No one can see you. She's shy. She's in her purple dress. There she is. So now we're gonna talk about the good and bad points about Honne and Tatemae. Now there, like everything, there's always good and bad points. So during everyday life, I think most people would probably agree that tatemae is a good thing. White lies are a good thing. It is an integral part of not only Japanese society, but all society. We don't just go around saying whatever we feel. Some people do, and those people are usually considered outsiders. It's weird if they're kind of making a storm about small things. Like most people just brush things under the rug. So I think in that, when you're thinking about the small things like that, tatemae is very important. Like I said, in all cultures. But the bad things about it is that it can make things a bit confusing for foreigners, at least, and even Japanese people. But for foreigners, because we aren't used to the amount of tatemae that is used in Japan, and to the extent it's being used. A lot of times you'll hear, foreigners saying, "Just tell me what you think. Just tell me what you mean, so we can, get this conversation over with." But it doesn't work like that. And the big one, and even Japanese people are kind of complaining about in the workplace. That's the big one. So you have to use, tatemae with superiors. You have to use, there's this kind of whole juggling act. And, like I said, you can't tell your boss that, hey, there's a better way. You have to fail first. And then it kind of reduces effectiveness and stresses people out. It's being complained about. So Robert, you asked, is it like that because of the high population of older Japanese, where the younger may be more honest and not sugarcoat as much? That is, I think, a very good possibility. I don't know. I'm not like a super expert on this kind of stuff, but I think, and it's being like I've read it as well, that the younger population of Japanese people are seeing more Western culture. They're learning more English. They're coming into contact with more foreigners, and they're also just realizing that tatemae can be really kind of stressful, I think. Well, yeah. Do you think the younger population is kind of not as, compared to the older population of Japanese people?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. Is that your honne?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so there is a difference between, I think, the older population and the younger population. And I think it will probably kind of tend to go in waves, just like the American population has kind of, there's been a renaissance with hipsters going back, into like, older culture and things like that. It kind of comes in waves, but we'll see how it goes. It's my honne honey, yeah. So now my what I think about it is, in the end, you've noticed that a lot of examples I gave are probably similar to experiences in your own country and in your own lives. So that is completely true. Tatemae culture is not exclusive to Japan. So please don't think that it's not this unattainable thing that we cannot, grasp. It's just used a lot more, and it's a little bit more subtle sometimes, but it is something that you can get used to and you can start using. You just have to find that kind of balance. It's just I guess use your common sense most of the time, and be respectful. I guess the kind of your mother's golden rule. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I think about Honne and Tatemae. It's difficult for me to use as well. Like I said, I tend to use it too much, and especially when I first came to Japan, because I learned about all this kind of stuff in university, and so I came to Japan thinking that like you had to turn down every compliment that someone gave you. You had to be bowing all the time, and that's just not true. You just have to find that kind of balance. Thank you, Robert. I'm glad you enjoy it. If you do want to share it to your friends, please do. And please, like the video and subscribe if you haven't already done that. But I will stick around here and answer any more questions, or just kind of chew the fat with you guys for a couple more minutes. Just have a good time. From Georgia, I have to be cordial all the time. Yeah. I like I said, American culture. There's different cultures throughout America. Like you go to California, it's very different than New York, and you go to the South, it's different. Even the different southern states have different cultures. So it's not this kind of hard and fast thing, that high context and low context culture. And neither is it in Japan. When will Arisa switch from Twitch to YouTube? Are you ever gonna go?
YouTube.
Are you ever gonna Twitch? Wait. Are you ever gonna Twitch to? No. Are you ever gonna switch from Twitch to YouTube?
I think I can do streaming both same time, like Twitch, YouTube, same time.
Yeah, like the same video.
Yeah.
I think I've seen people do that. Like you can do it on Facebook as well. Is it something you'd never be interested in? Would you want to do it on YouTube?
One day.
One day.
One day.
One day. Wait, my mic's here. I think that might be Tatemae. I'm not sure. I think it might be Tatemae.
No.
Okay. So, yeah, tongue twister time. Switch to Twitch. No, switch from Twitch to YouTube. That's really.
Switch from Twitch to YouTube.
But well, so I mean, she does gaming most of the time, right? You're a gamer. She does Guild Wars too. She likes to do that. That's pretty much all you do. No, you stream some other games sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, she plays it a little bit more relaxed on it. Yeah. So, do you guys have any questions about the Honne or Tatemae, or any of my experiences or anything? We're here for a couple more minutes. If you guys are gonna be watching. Oh man, I haven't played Guild Wars. Did you play Guild Wars? Did you play the first one or the second one, or both? So Countryside Limbo, by the way, I don't know, Arisa, she's been a subscriber since a long time ago. Yeah, been a so always supports me, always likes my stuff on Twitter and things. So thank you so much. You guys do Honne all the that's a good one. Yeah. That's a really difficult question, Simon, for two newlyweds, okay?
I don't think so.
No, like, do we use Honne all the time? No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of an example that won't get me in trouble. Something that I told her that would have been Tatemae. I don't know. I'm pretty straight. I'm pretty straight. I think I do like 99% Honne, or I just don't say something. If something's bothering me or something, I just don't say it, because usually it's really small, and It's what? It's
Nothing.
it's if something's so small that is bothering you, usually like 2 minutes or 3 minutes later, it's gonna be gone. I'm gonna just stop talking about this before I get into trouble. Yeah, she is giving me looks. Um. So you. Uh. So so Countryside, you played both. Yeah. Well, yeah, me too. I played Guild Wars 1. I started there and then went to Guild Wars 2. Most interesting or memorable experience with Honne or Tatemae. I would say that one in America was the one where it screwed me up. Well, we talked about it, like, so it's a reverse culture shock, kind of like, I came here in to Japan in 2011, the day after I graduated from university, and I've been here for so long. And then even in university, I studied abroad. I studied Japanese culture, everything. So I was, I I'm not now. I'm not 100% American, stereotypical American, and I'm not 100% Japanese. So I do kind of mix things, and that's what happened. Like, I was being modest and to my friend when I said I can't speak Japanese, and that was not the right thing to do. Yeah, so that was in America. What about you? Do you have any things from Honne or Tatemae? Any
Do you think Japanese people using Honne and Tatemae too much?
too
Not
much?
too much. Like,
Uh, I think it is really difficult at work for Japanese people. There's a lot of, even in my office where I work, there's a lot of interaction that I see that where they are doing Honne and Tatemae a lot, and I don't participate in it because I know I don't have to, because I'm a foreigner, and I'll be excused for it. But a lot of the times, some of the Japanese staff will come to me and say, "Hey, I think we should do this," kind of lightly, like, "Oh yeah," or like, yeah, I want to do something, and they don't want to. That's their Honne. They don't want to do this thing, but they'll come to me several times and be like, "Hey, that was a good idea, but uh, maybe we should try this, or this is kind of better, or we should kind of do this." And I'm like, you don't want to do that, right? And then, like, yeah, that's fine. Just please tell me. Like, you don't have to come to me, all the times. That's kind of what happens. I mean, so it is used too much, I think, in the workplace. Things would go
so
by.
workplace, and to friends, not for family, like my mom, dad.
Yeah,
So just friends or at work.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like friends, even with friends. It depends on how close the friends are, right? You use with your friends. Yeah. Uh, but it depends on how close they are. If they're really, really close friends, you don't use that much of it. Yeah. Yeah, so Simon asked that. Yeah. So amongst friends in the group Uchi, yeah. So that's another topic. Like, yeah, even in those Uchi groups, there is tatemae used. Not nearly as much as you would use from an outside group or Soto group, but yeah, it's a difficult subject that doesn't have like a concrete answer. I know I'm kind of being wishy-washy. Robert says, I still play StarCraft. I bought it when it came out about a century ago. I never played StarCraft. I've never played it. I've seen it, and it looks like a game that I would be interested in, but then I just see all the people that are really, really good at it, and it just makes me not want to play. Yeah. So, like, just the kind of add on to the what Arisa was kind of talking about, and Simon was asking. Yeah, in the Uchi, it is still used. just not as much. I just kind of wanted to clear that up. And it depends on the level of closeness you are. So you have acquaintances which you're going to be using a lot of tatemae with. You have friends that you're maybe use some, and then you have close friends that where you're only going to be using a little bit, and they might even tell you like, hey, what do you? They'll ask you, honne wa? Like they'll ask you, right? Some people will ask like, what do you really think? And that you cannot do in normal situations. Like only close friends can ask like what the honne is. Usually, now, a boss might if they want. Like I know if I were a boss and I wanted to know what my underlings really thought, I'd be like, look, just tell me what do you really think. But even then, those Japanese people would have a very difficult time, I think, in my experience, telling their boss what they really thought. It would be difficult for them. I don't know why that got flagged, Robert. Sorry. Simon. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a regular Sunday stream. I'm still looking at the times. Let me know what you guys think. I like Sunday at 10 o'clock. It's a little bit late for me, and it's a little bit late for Arisa, but it's definitely doable. I don't want to like Saturday. Like if I did do it on a Saturday here, like it would have to be a Saturday morning, and even then, like we go to her parents' house or we go out sometimes, so Saturday is a little bit difficult. I think Sunday is gonna be like maybe the best time, like Sunday mornings, Sunday evenings. I think is the best. Sunday morning is yeah, it's just a weird time as well. I think the best time is going to be around this time because it hits a decent amount of the time zones, and I can do it. Like first of all, I can do it. That's the most important thing, and then it's the time zones. But yeah, we're gonna try to do it every Sunday. If I have something like if something comes up, I just won't do it. No, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. JST. Yeah, but if I'm out with my family, or something like that, I'm not gonna force like the show. But I would try to keep it every week. I've got a bunch of topics. If you guys want me to talk about something, just message me on Instagram or on Facebook or on Twitter. Twitter is probably the best one. I usually check Twitter. I check Twitter a lot. I imagine with so many people. Sorry, Robert. I imagine with so many people in a small area, they have to tell white lies and go by a strict set of rules. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that is an important part. It's not so bad in like Okayama, like, um, but yeah, I think it does play a role in there. Yeah, there are my Twitter handles and my Instagram and Facebook. Yep. But I think that's pretty much all. If you guys, yeah, I mean, let me know your honne, not your tatemae. What you guys thought about the stream? How the sound was, how it looks, the format. If you guys have any suggestions or anything, please do let me know on any of those. And sorry about starting late. I think we lost a few watchers at the time, so that's too bad. But that was my fault. Should have just restarted earlier, I guess. But that is gonna be it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you haven't already, please like the video, share it. I'm gonna be putting it up for replay. That'll probably be up for. I'll probably trim it tomorrow and everything. So if you want to share it with your friends around then, please go ahead. Tell everyone you know about the Japan live stream show. Hopefully every Sunday at 10 p.m. Japan Standard Time. And yeah, thank you guys. I mean, Simon, Countryside Limbo, and Robert, thank you all for tuning in and watching. And if there are any lurkers out there, thank you so much. And I will see you guys later. Bye.